This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun. And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio, Season 11. Yes, we've got 11 seasons already. You've been putting up with me for 11 seasons. And tonight we have Weed from the Odd Even, a band from the Baltimore, D.C. area that has just released their third album and are getting ready to go out on tour to support it. We had a great time talking about the formation of the current lineup of the band, recording of their most recent album, a few Spinal Tap moments from the road. Hey, but who doesn't have those? The links to their site and all their other social media can be found in the show notes. The Fowl Players of Perryville are back in action and have upcoming shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing in Perryville, Maryland, the Van Diver Inn in Havre de Grace, and others. If you're interested in seeing a show, our website is fowlplayersofperryville.com. And if you're interested in booking us, foulplayersperryville at yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. And remember, every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time is The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, where we feature songs you forgot you liked, classics that never die, interviews with up-and-coming classic beloved bands. Go to 97underground.com and download that free app today and listen to us wherever you may go. We thank you for listening and watching Fowl Players Radio. Our main website is foulplayersradio.com. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. And we thank you for supporting our show. We thank you for supporting our guests. Make sure you go to their links in the show notes and check out their tickets to their shows and their books and their albums, T-shirts, whatever they have. Remember, support local artists. It's very much appreciated. When you've done that, you've supported a local business. You're helping somebody realize their dream, folks. So get out there and do it. And we will be right back with Weed from the Odd Even right after these words.
Hi, this is Bud Becker.
Hi, everybody. Dwight Weems from Gaz the Fun Band.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David.
Hey, this is Brian Damage from Kicks and Rhino Bucket.
Hi, this is Kim of Kim's Crypt.
Hello, my name is Gunhild Carling.
Hi, this is Paul Castiglia, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the one-stop shop for all your pop culture needs.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. Michael Spedden here. We are in season 11. We've got 11 seasons, that is. And today we have Weed with us from the band The Odd Even. I've recently met these folks through 97 Underground, and their material is just sick. It's really, really good stuff. And we'll give you all the information in the show notes as to where to find The Odd Even, where to find their music, their dates, their merch, and all that good stuff. But Weed, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good stuff.
Yeah, so I've been reading about the band and everything, and it looks like looking on your website, it looks like you guys are just full of good news right now. I was seeing tour dates coming up. You've just released a very nice album and some news. Just so where do we want to begin with this here?
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, the album just dropped. It's called Darkness. Dropped on January 5th.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Eclipse Records. It is available everywhere worldwide.
You said
distributed through Sony. It is all over.
You said Eclipse. You broke up a little bit there. You said Eclipse Records, and it's distributed by Sony.
Yep, worldwide.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, and you can stream it on every platform. Again, if you need any information about that, you can just go to theoddeven.com or Eclipse Records. We're up there. We got all the link trees to anywhere you want to grab it.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. That's definitely good news. And I'm sure once you get a taste of hearing some of this stuff, you're going to want to go out and buy that album. It's just absolutely, it's very well done. Very well done. And we played some of it on the back of the rack the other day, and I've enjoyed listening to it since you sent it to me to hear. So this the odd even, you've been around for a couple of years now, and kind of tell us how that came together.
Yeah, well, ET and I, my guitar player, we were in another hard rock band. We've been in bands, multiple, 10, 12, whatever it is, over the years. We've known each other since high school. And he was playing in a reggae band. I was playing in a funk rock band. And we got approached by a singer who was doing some hard rock stuff. And he asked if we wanted to come and join the band, to which we said, yeah. We did that for, I guess, about a year or so. Went out on the road with them. A story that's not unlike many others. The singer was a little bit full of himself. So we decided to take our toys. We took our toys and went somewhere else. We were writing a lot of the songs at that point. We kind of had a lot of the vision. I do a lot of the business stuff internally for the band. And I was just like, let's do something else. Let's get out of this toxic relationship. So in 2019, we split off. We started the Odd Even, and I think it was probably 3 weeks after we got the band together. We played our first show at the Tally Ho Theater in Leesburg, Virginia.
Sure.
In front of Faster Pussycat and Bang Tango.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, that was our first show in 2019, and then we followed that up. We went south. We did a couple headliners. We played with Nonpoint. We played with the guys in Soulfly. We came back and did another show at Tally Ho with the guys in Last in Line, the Dio guys. We played with Sponge. So a bunch of stuff happened in 2019, and as we were ramping up, we recorded our first EP, Space Juice. Went into the studio, had big plans to release it on 420, and wham, COVID hit, and we had to cancel a tour, and a whole bunch of things went a little bit sideways, as you know, the whole world did. So. Yeah, we've been rolling ever since 2019. We fought through that, and we're on our third record now, and good things ahead.
Well, that's great. And so you've known ET for a long time. The two of you have worked together, as you mentioned, in a good number of bands. And you've also got, of course, two other members. You've got Tasha Jones on drums, and you've got Chris Voles on vocals. So tell us how you met them.
Yeah, we met up with Tasha when she was in Saliva. We opened for them a couple times, and we talked with her a little bit, and nothing more than, hey, I really dig your drumming and all this stuff. You guys are great, blah blah blah. Love the way you play, type stuff. And as we progressed with the Odd Even, we were looking for players to come in on the Darkness record. We reached out to her and said, hey, would you be interested in all that? She graciously accepted our invitation, came out, and just absolutely killed it in the studio. And kind of the same thing happened with Chris, with the exception of we hung out with Chris quite a bit more. The Odd Even went on tour with the Demon Flaw in 2021 for 6 weeks. Went all across the country, all over the place. I think it was like 32, 33 cities, something like that. So we spent a lot of time getting to know each other. And, we just started playing some demos and stuff like that. Just kind of hinting it'd be really cool to work together. And when it came time to record this, we said, hey, we got Tosh on board. Do you want to come in and bang out some stuff? We sent him some demos, and wow, it's just great. The chemistry and everything in the studio was wonderful. We had, having Chris in there with just that growl, that raspy rock and roll voice, and, Tasha just killing it, thunder on the drums. It just really, I think it took the song right into the next level. So very exciting stuff.
Well, that's great. I mean, it really makes a world of difference when you get people together that you really have good chemistry with and you get along with on a personal level. We were kind of talking offline a little bit, and you and I were kind of agreed that it's a very touchy situation, when you're trying to create, because music, art, whatever it is you're making, you're writing, comes from you. That's part of your soul right there. You're putting out a part of yourself there. When you have somebody that can help you build upon it, you've really got something great. When you have somebody that just comes in like a bull in a china shop. And it not only affects you, is it frustrating, but it's also kind of personal, it kind of
Right.
feels almost personal when that happens. And amen to you getting, a good lineup of folks together that you get along with and you have good chemistry with, nothing beats that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly not easy. And the way we write, typically I'll come up with a riff or ET will have a riff and we'll sit down in his home studio and, drink a couple beers, whatever. And we'll start developing the song. And we're using, drum tracks or drum machines or whatever that is.
Sure.
As we're writing. And once we get it to a point where we're like, okay, so I think we got this song kind of, we'll start developing a theme typically on, where this melody line is going to go, what the song's going to be about. And then ET will sing over top of kind of what we have. And so we'll have full scratch tracks. And in this case, sending these tracks out to Tasha and Chris was great. I mean, I think we sent 15 tracks and we said, hey, look, kind of, land on the ones that you feel more comfortable with, that you like. Here's the lyrics. Let us know what you think about that. And yeah, we just came together on this record and it was just a really good experience. I mean, they added to our vision without doing what you said, without coming in like a bull in a china shop saying, this is the way I'm going to do it. They were very flexible. They had great ideas and it really just complemented and brought our vision to life. And it was great.
Yeah, I was listening and you can really tell in the product that you put out, just the two of you really seem to gel well as a rhythm section. She's really got some great beats down there. You're putting a groove to those, and as I've mentioned, there's just some of these things where it just like punches you right in the gut. It's that good. It's like, whoa, yeah. It's a really good, it's a really nicely done, rhythm section there. The guitars, I mean, all the parts that ET is putting into the songs and everything, and all the riffs and the fills and everything are just great. And I really like your singer, Chris. He's got a very a very kind of a mid-range voice, very I would say more of the 90s than the 80s, definitely. There are some great harmony and backing vocal tracks around what he's doing in a lot of these songs. And I would have to say it's all put together very nicely. Kudos to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't have done it without Frank Marchand. I can't say enough about that guy. We worked with Frank, hell, I don't know, maybe my second or third band. He was running sound down at the old, it's the building that was the Copa and then Jack's and all that down in Springfield. I forget what the last name was. Copa, Jack's, might have been Boots, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, it was Jay Nedry from the Road Dogs.
Oh, yeah, I've had him as a guest.
And, yeah, Jay's great. He's a trip. But we were little kids and we saw Frank, twisting the knobs and moving the faders for that band. We're like, man, this guy's really got it together. And we were playing at the old Bayou right after that. And we asked Frank to run sound for us and he did. And we just struck up a relationship. And much like, I've been with ET for years. Frank's always been that go-to guy. And he's worked on all three of the Odd Even records and just love what he does with it. I mean, the guy, he's got great ideas. He's very flexible to work with. He'll say, I would do it this way. Then sometimes you're like, Frank, go to hell. And other times you're like, Frank, that's exactly what this needs. You know what I mean? So yeah, really good stuff. Just a great experience working with this crew. And yeah, it's I think we got a great product.
It's nice to have a good go-to guy in the studio too. Somebody who really knows you inside and out, and you can really they know what you want to accomplish and they can really bring the best out of you,
Yeah, he's a brother. I mean, he's got no problem telling us what he likes and what he doesn't like, and vice versa. And it's great. I mean, we'll argue and fight a little bit sometimes, but we come back together and we hug by the end of the day, and it's really great. And like I said, I'm really happy with everything he's done for us to this point.
Yeah. Well, good. So, yeah, you had mentioned going out on the road, and you've done some pretty extensive touring with this band over the years, huh?
Yeah, we've gotten around. I mean, we've hit a good majority of the states. Some pockets we got to get to. We got to get up to like that whole Montana, Idaho area. We were driving through Wyoming on the last tour because we had a Salt Lake City gig and then we had like a Northern California gig, I think. And somehow the road took us that But yeah, that area we still got to hit, and we haven't played like in Washington yet. So the far northwest we need to get to, but pretty much everywhere else we've been. The tour we got coming up here in April is 14 cities, I think, in 16 days, something like that. And that's going to be mainly so we'll head south first. We'll go through North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee. We go back up to the Midwest. I know there's Michigan on there, Ohio, maybe Indiana. And then we head over to like New York area, New England, all that stuff before coming back down and wrapping up in Maryland. So yeah, that should be a good little run there.
Yep. Most of the playing that I did when I was playing was in the Baltimore, DC area. We did New York. We did a couple of other places, but do you have any areas outside of, I guess, this area where they know you, but do you have any areas outside of the Maryland, DC area that's more like that's like a second home almost, where they really took to you there?
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, on that last run we did, I think it was 4 or 5 days in Texas. Texas is huge, so we hit all the major metro areas, and wow, we got really good response there. People were really digging it. I grew up hating the Dallas Cowboys and stuff, but I kind of got a soft spot for Texas at this point. I was like, man, I can't stand Dallas, and Texas can fall into the Caribbean for all I care. But I tell you what, that last run was really good. A lot of nice people down there. A lot of people dig this brand of kind of aggressive hard rock down there. So yeah, I'd say Texas, maybe even a little bit of Florida. A little bit of a soft spot there. Both some good runs in both those places. So yeah.
That's great. It's nice to almost have like a home away from home, or to see that. And it probably gives you confidence in what you're doing, just to see that not just people from your area that know you like you, that you can take it and it'll fly in other places too,
Yeah, I'm just excited too, because the band is, what you want to see is progression and growth, and everything from writing to, just being more pro over time. And, we've been at this a long time, but to be honest, the idea is relatively new. And I can honestly say that, from 2019 until now, we're much different. We're much better. We're more polished, as you'd like to say, and we just keep progressing. So it's a lot of fun to get out there and play, and at the same time kind of look back and say, here's what we did before. And it's fun when you see repeat faces and they're kind of saying the same thing that you're feeling. It really is it's assuring. It gives you that whole, you're like, wow, we are doing the right thing. We're on the right track. We're not falling off. This is good. It's moving in the right direction.
Right. It's good to get that kind of feedback, and just to be able to kind of see it from, to be able to see it, just from the stage, and noticing the same people coming out and seeing you. And probably, I'm sure you probably have an opportunity to maybe mingle a little bit with some folks as well and hear what they think, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we definitely take pride in doing that. We'll even announce from the stage that, hey, the minute we get off stage and clean ourselves up a little bit, get some of the sweat off, and grab a beer, we'll meet you by the merch table or at the bar, whatever you guys want to do. And we'll sign anything anybody brings up to us. We'll spend time with anybody that wants to spend time with us. The only time we have to cut that stuff off is if we got a long journey between shows and we got to leave. But I mean, if we got 4 hours between, a show and the next show, well, hell, we can stay there for as long as people want us to meet and greet and sign things and hang out. So yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun, and we love hanging out with the folks that come to see us and appreciate the music.
It's really something too, when you create something and somebody really digs it enough to be willing to buy it, and they're really into having it,
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, we appreciate big time everybody comes to a show. We certainly know that tickets aren't cheap these days, and everyone's on a budget and all that stuff. And it's great when we see the people, buying T-shirts and CDs and whatever. And some people come over and they're like, "Hey, I don't really have much money. Can I get this?" And we're like, "Man, just take it. Come on, you kidding me?" So we just love the support and love to meet new people and love being out there, man. It's really cool.
That's what makes it all worth it. I mean, sometimes, you you go through frustrations, when you know trying to get from city to city. Sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes, when you're trying to record something, you just can't get it right a bunch of times. And sometimes things drive you up the wall. But when you get that final product, you've kind of reached the point where, people are giving you good feedback on it. It makes it all worth it in the end after you've been struggling with it, any
No doubt.
Yep. Any interesting stories about, some of the folks you've toured with? I mean, you've read me, you told me a good sized list of people that you've performed with, over the years. Any notable shows or any anecdotes about that?
Well, I will. I'll do this in two parts. I will say that a real surprise, and I don't know why I should have been surprised about this, because I like this band. We played a show with Slaughter and LA Guns down in is it Fort Myers? I think it was Fort Myers, Florida.
Is that right?
A place called The Ranch. And I tell you what, I would pay money to go see Slaughter's sound check. Those guys are badass. They did a cover of Still the Night by Whitesnake and just killed it. I mean, it was so cool. I was like, this is awesome. And that's a lot of fun when you're just kind of hanging out backstage, whatever. You're like, what are they doing out there? This is really neat. So yeah, that was a lot of fun playing with them. We love the guys in Non-Point. We play with them down in New Orleans. Those guys are really badass, really, super pro, great music. And I think, like you said, I mean, we're kind of, you were mentioning that 90s piece in the 90s, kind of getting, some of that as a protest or move away from the 80s. But really, we can play with anybody that's sort of from that hard rock genre, whether it's an 80s type band or a 90s or new metal or whatever it might be. We sort of fit in that. And much like, one of our heroes, Alice in Chains, I mean, you would see them back in the day on tour with Slayer and be like, wow, that's kind of a weird bill. But you know what? They were badass. They were playing great music and they fit. And then you'd see them with somebody that was, much softer than them. And it didn't matter because it was Alice in Chains and they were great. And that's sort of what we strive for. Blend in, be a chameleon, whatever it might be, and just write good music and have a good time, man. That's what it's all about.
Right. One of those bands like Cheap Trick, you can pretty much pair them with just about anybody in the whole hard rock or metal spectrum, Now I've seen some odd pairings though in the past, because up in Baltimore every year or so they have a thing called Death Fest or Death Metal Fest.
The Doom Fest.
Doom Fest, that's what it is. I've seen the flyers for it, and I saw about 30 bands listed on there, and all their logos look like tree roots. And and then at the top I see Blue Oyster Cult.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you what, if you want to get a kick, if you ever heard of the band Party Cannon?
No.
If you haven't, look them up. It's amazing. Every festival they're on, like you said, there'll be 30 bands with their logos that look like the tree roots. And there's a band called Party Cannon, and their damn logo looks like Toys R Us. It is clear. It is clear as day. Everyone's in black and white and dark grays. And Party Cannon is in bubble font in, every color under the sun. It's great. It's so. So we were on tour. One of the roadies from Edema was actually from their hometown in the UK, and came out to do our sound check, and I was wearing a Party Cannon shirt, and the guy's like, "What are you doing with that? Those guys are from my hometown." I was like, "No way," sitting there in the middle of Alabama, and he was blown away that I had that shirt on. But yeah, check it out, man. It's pretty wild, man. It stuff stands out, and it's a great marketing idea when you got all these bands, you can't read the writing. Why wouldn't you want to stand out, right?
Oh, exactly. And I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're excellent bands. I just can't figure out what they're called.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you right there, 100%.
Yep. So you mentioned too earlier that you're a Gibson man.
Yeah. A few years ago, I made the switch. I just, when we started playing in this band, I had an endorsement with the ESP for a while in the band before, And I tell you what, the bass they sent me, they're nice, but they're super, super heavy. And I know you're going to laugh at me when I say that I moved from a heavy ESP to a Gibson Les Paul. But believe it or not, that guitar is actually heavier than a Les Paul. So, I mean, it was, I was like, I appreciate the endorsement, all this stuff. The ESPs are nice, but I can't play with this every night. And I actually switched to a couple Thunderbirds, which are much lighter, same body style, and played them quite a bit. And then I got a couple Les Pauls as well. And I go back and forth between the two. I'd say, I've got a gold top Les Paul bass. It's probably my go-to. You can see that in all the videos and stuff. But yeah, I still love the Thunderbirds too. And it really depends on my mood and what I feel like that day while we're on the road. So.
Yeah, I've always liked Gibson basses. There was a fella that kind of, when I was a teenager playing in bands and stuff, there was an older band kind of took me and my band under their wing. They were kind of mentoring us and stuff like that, and we could go out and we would help them lug their equipment in and out if we could stick around, and watch. And I got turned on to Gibson basses back then. And I always loved the RD basses, and I've got one of those, and that's the one that's going in my coffin with me, I think, when I die, and then the rest of them will be divvied up amongst relatives, whoever wants one. But it's there's just something about those, that it just has that, what do they say? What is it? It's that thing,
Yeah. That's it.
When it comes to basis and everything. How about your rig?
So right now I'm running a dark glass. I alluded to the fact when we were recording that I had 2 tracks, one with distortion. The distortion on that is really, really sweet because you get the fatness of the Les Paul, you get a little bit of that distortion, some compression in there. And I run that through 1 or 2 Marshall bass cabinets, depending on the size of the place. One of is a biamped, it's 2 10s and a 15. The other one is 4 12s.
Oh, okay. And
I'll tell you what, when we go into some of the places that the house sound guy looks and says, "You guys don't have a bass player?" And then I'm like, "No, there's a bass rig right here." And he's like, "Dude, there's a gold top Les Paul and 2 Marshall cabinets." He's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "Do you want to be a guitar player?"
Yeah, really.
So it's pretty entertaining. They'll look over, they'll see 2 Marshall cabinets over here and 2 over there, and like, who the hell's a bass player? So, but no, I mean, the reason why I do that is, when I was playing in groove bands and funk bands and stuff, I mean, I was running Spectres for a while and the whole Hartke thing, and I went through the GKs and all that, and Trace Elliott's. But I really think that this fits the whole hard rock metal, that the feel that I'm looking for, the tones I'm looking for. And I've never been like a super tone guy. I'm always like, man, if it sounds good, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it, all that stuff. I've had people send me free gear, and I'm like, hey man, if I like it, I'll play it. If I don't, I'm not going to play it just because. And so with this stuff, I mean, I'm not endorsed by Gibson by any means. I'm not endorsed by Marshall or Dark Glass, but you know what? I love this stuff, and so I'm running with it. That's the deal.
That's great. I've always been a PV and Ampeg guy, but did you ever had an SVT head, not the new kind, the old kind, and weighed as much as a Cadillac, and did you ever try lugging one of the? Did you ever do the Paragon in College Park?
I did. As a matter of fact, it's funny. Somebody brought up a story the other day of a show back in, God, I guess it was the mid '90s. I was playing with I don't know, I wouldn't call it a pop band, but like a much more of a poppy rock band.
Yeah.
And the drummer that we were playing with at the time was Todd Wright, who had spent a number of years as the singer of the Eccentrics. I don't know if you remember that band, but he was playing drums with us. And it was when they moved the stage from where it was for years to that far wall. I don't know if you remember that. And they had opened up that side door, and we loaded it through the side door. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, for the last 10 years, I've been carrying crap up these front steps after putting my hazards on Route 1, having to throw the amp over the wall, then carry it up the stairs, and do the same thing in reverse, at 2 a.m. when you've got all the college kids hanging out there. I was like, wait a minute. there's a door over here. I didn't know that. I was like, what is that? Are you kidding me?
Oh, the stairs from hell.
Bad, real bad. There's a
Yep.
few that are worse. I don't know
Mhm.
if you ever played at Peabody's in Virginia Beach, right when you come into Virginia Beach.
No.
Wow, that one's bad too, and it doesn't have any landings. At least the one the Paragon had 1 or 2 landings you could stop at and catch a breath. This one's all just straight up, you know. Like, what are we in the metro or something? Come on, man, what are we doing there?
That must have been their the Paragon's deterrent to keep people from driving drunk, because after you lug your equipment up and down those steps, there was no way you were going to be drunk after that show. You know?
Yeah, it was crazy. I spent all of 1993 in Uncle Chunky, if you know that band, and wow, man, we played there every Monday night. Every Monday night for the $5 all you can drink drafts and the 25-cent pitchers downstairs. Every Monday night I was lugging that. After maybe a month, I started hiring people. I'd pay people. I'd say, hey man, here's $100. You're carrying all my crap. I'm not carrying any of this. I don't care if I don't make any money tonight. I just don't want to carry anything.
I know. It gets to a point where you reach a certain age, you're just like, oh man. Then you start buying smaller stuff, which was nice. You know, the stick mounted PAs nowadays are a godsend compared to lugging that old equipment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at the point now where if there's any possibility that there's no stage and or no PA, I'm not playing.
Right.
I don't care what it is. I don't want any part of that place. That's not my thing, you know.
I know well, the other thing too is that you just got to make sure, and I've been seeing this a bit, unfortunately. You go to a place and they say, yeah, we have our own PA and our own sound man, but you know, you go in there and the PA is trashed. The cabinets are all blown out, and you know the sound man, you know, he turns the sound, the sound man turns the PA on, you know, just turns the PA on, and then he's there on his phone, you know, not paying attention to anything, not making any adjustments or mixing or anything like that. Just, you know, there's it's like giving your grandparents a remote on and off. You know, it's like it's the way it is with some of these guys with the soundboard, you know, on and off, and that's it.
Yeah, we always bring our own sound guy now. We don't. We go out on the road. We don't leave that to chance. I mean, you know, some of the venues, they might have somebody that's very capable, but there's plenty of others that don't, and it's not worth the risk. So I'd rather pay our sound guy, bring him with us. He knows what we're doing. We're doing the same set pretty much every night. We're setting up the same way every night. It just makes everything feel much more comfortable. You don't want that piece of the equation, you know, falling off. And so, you know, it's totally worth it to bring our own guy.
It is. It really is. You know, I've seen bands that also have gotten stuck with either a house PA guy, and these were like on bigger tours too. There was one band that I saw, and I'm not going to mention who they were because this was really unfair to them. I saw them opening for a pretty well-known national act, and the whole thing sounded like the most god-awful thing I was like I'd ever seen in my life. And then I went and looked them up. I was like, who are these? I was like, who the hell are these guys that they got to go out and open for this national act and play in these nice venues? And I looked them up and they were great. But
they're great. Yeah, that's too bad.
You know, but the sound that night was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, it's sad when that happens. And you know, the worst thing is that most of the time the band won't even notice. You know, they've got nowadays it's got in-ear monitors. You know, it could sound great on stage and sound like complete crap out front. You know, it can sound great in your ears. You know, with that nowadays, I mean, literally before I get on stage, I'm grabbing my phone, I'm dialing in my own monitor sound. You know, what do I need? A little bit more kick drum? Do I need more guitar? Whatever that is. And I'm setting my own sound for me there. So, it's going to sound perfect for me.
Right,
Who
right,
knows what
right.
it sounds like?
Mhm.
That's why we bring somebody with us to trust that the front of house is perfect.
Mhm. I know, I know. Yeah, you got to have somebody out there doing. I mean, I was playing in an acoustic duo for a number of years, and we kind of brought our own PA, and we could hear ourselves through the monitors, but nobody could hear our vocals out front. So they just thought we were playing guitar the whole time. We thought we were instrumental.
Yeah, right.
So,
Whoops.
yeah. Oops. Yeah. So speaking of which, and this is a question I ask all my musical guests is,
Okay.
have you ever had any Spinal Tap moments?
Oh wow. So knock on wood, we haven't had anything catastrophic in the odd even. I certainly have over the years, though. I mean, we actually at one time I wrote a song. I can't remember. It's called "Falling to the Ground" or "The Ground" or whatever it was. And we were playing a venue, and they were very proud of the fact that they had just redid the stage, and so they had like a new front riser or whatever it was. And so we were debuting the song that I wrote, and we came out and starts with this big vocal part, falling closer to the ground, and my singer jumps on the new stage and literally falls through the stage. They'd forgotten to screw in the 4x8 plywood. Plywood pops up. He goes through the stage. Wood goes flying. Of course, we're trying to make sure he's okay, but at the same time, these are our first notes, and I'm like, oh my god, and then I'm laughing because I'm just like, I can't believe that he just sang "Falling Closer to the Ground." He's not only on the ground, but like through the stage.
He's a
So,
whiz.
so that was certainly a Spinal Tap moment. I tell you, on the last tour we did with Edema and Flaw, Chris, who's now playing with us in the Odd Even, we were in Colorado, I believe, and there was a small green room, and Edema went into the green room, and there was boxes stacked up in there. They said, we got to get these out of there. And so they piled them up in front of what they thought was a supply closet. Well, it turned out that was the bathroom. And so maybe 30, 45 minutes went by, and nobody could find Chris. And Flaw was getting ready to do their sound check and all this stuff. And everyone's like, where's Chris? What's going on? He was in the bathroom before they stacked up these boxes in front of the bath. He couldn't get out. He was closing the bathroom, and he was banging stuff. And one of the local openers was making so much noise. We thought it was just like the kick drum. Nobody could hear him banging and stuff. We started pulling the boxes apart, and sure enough, Chris pops out, and he's like, Jesus, I thought I was going to spend the night in the bathroom.
That's
good
funny.
stuff there.
That's funny. Every band has them. But that reminds me of, you said the thing about the stage was, did you ever play CBGBs?
I did one time way back in the day. Yeah.
That stage was like that too. You better watch where you stepped up there. There were some loose boards on that stage too.
Yeah. I know I tripped at least once there. I went up there a few times too to help out other bands and roadies with my friends, and yeah, that was a little dicey. It definitely had took a little beating over the years.
Oh yeah, I know. And speaking of bathrooms too, ugh, good Lord.
Hey, good times.
Yeah, that was something up there. But yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. It sounds like things are going great for you. I'm really glad to hear this. Amen. Amen to you,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of hard work. There's always something new to do. We try to keep the pedal to the metal. ET does a lot of the video editing for us. ET stands for Edit Todd, not just extraterrestrial. So he spent a long time, doing video editing for Discovery Channel, and now he works for an independent firm that I think they do a lot of stuff with like Apple and things like that.
Yeah.
Another true story. We were sitting in a bar one time down in Atlanta, Georgia, and the bartender comes over and she goes, "Are you guys in a band?" And we're like, "We are." And she goes, and kind of walks away, and then she turns around and looks at the TV, and it was an intro, like a little commercial for one of the shows on Discovery Channel or the Learning Channel. And ET goes, "Yeah, I did that." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And she went from not giving a shit about us at all, giving us bad service. Once she found out that he created the videos for her favorite TV show on the Learning Channel, full attention. And she wouldn't pay attention to me. I'd ask, like, hey man, can you get me another beer? So he was in at that.
Well, hey, yeah, that's sometimes the band doesn't impress everybody, but something else does. That's showbiz, huh?
We'll take it however we get it.
Exactly. So, so you had mentioned, you've got some tour dates coming up here. The album's out, and or is there anybody that you're going to be touring with that's been announced yet? I saw dates on your website, but I didn't see any other details. I guess you haven't maybe confirmed who you're going to tour with.
Yeah, this is a full headlining tour. So
it is.
Rooms, yeah, and pretty much I think all the openers are local openers, but there might be a band joining us for like 2 or 3 shows in New England. So yeah, this one's going to be all headlining, and then I think we're doing another run in the fall, but I'm not sure who that's with. Yeah, so this one is all us.
Well, great. Hey, that's good news there. That's good news. You're out there headlining, and that way, people don't. I don't know if people tend to do this anymore, but there was, whenever I opened for somebody, we would always get the business. Bad mix, like we'd mentioned before. You get like you get about like a sidewalk square to stand in because all their crap is up on stage, and they can't wait to put it up there, along with your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've certainly experienced that to some extent. Not recently, but I tell you what, I tell all the bands that open for us, I don't care if they're brand new. I don't care if I think they're the worst band I ever heard or the best band I ever heard. I'm gonna offer our backline to them. I got no problem anyone using our Marshall cabinets, using our drums, as long as they're bringing breakables and bringing their amps and stuff. I mean, it just makes sense. It gives so much more room on stage for everybody. The turnover time between sets is better. And I don't have that kind of an ego. Right. Yeah. Hey, look, if this band's playing with a kick drum that says the odd even, I'm pretty sure most of the people that are there are going to know that's not the odd even.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. And we try to make it as easy as possible. And we've been there before. We try to make it easy on the other bands. We try to make it easy on ourselves. Like I said, we try to get our own mix and our in-ears nowadays. We're not worrying about that type of stuff. And then really just comes down to our sound man doing the right thing in front of the house, try to make it as pro as possible, make it sound as good as possible.
Great. Well, I'm glad to, I'm looking for, I get your, boy, I can't even speak anymore. I bet you're really excited for this year coming up then, huh? Sounds like all kinds of good things are, lined up for you here. So I hope it all goes very well. So at this point, would you like to, I kind of call this the shameless plugs portion of the evening. You can shamelessly plug anything you'd like to shamelessly plug.
Yeah, well, let me say thanks to all the people that have helped out to make this record. I mean, we talked about Frank Marchand, producer, our record label Eclipse. They've been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, bringing Chris and Tasha on board has been just great. And then all the venues we're about to play, man, that have been looking for the odd even. All the fans out there that have been grabbing our merch up already, that have been sending us messages, that are buying tickets, that are excited to come see us. Just thank you to everybody. Thank you to you for having us on.
Sure.
Anybody else that's shown interest in the band, we certainly love it and respect it. Good stuff.
Wonderful. And listeners, all of the links for the odd even will be posted in the show notes of the episode. So once you go to the show notes, you can find the links to the odd even. You can find it to there's places where you can get their music. You can find their record company's website, I believe, and a bunch of other things relevant to them, and go in there and support them. We got a hardworking band here. If you've heard them on 97 Underground on my show, they're good. So get out there and support them. Get out there and support these guys. Show them some love. Keep an eye on their calendar on their website, and come out to a show. Come out to a show, folks. We've had Weed from the Odd Even today here on Foul Players Radio. And thanks, Weed. Thanks for coming with us today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Good stuff.
Thanks. And thank you all for listening, and we will see you all next time. And thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Foul Players Radio. I really enjoyed getting to meet and talk to Weed from the Odd Even tonight. Great guy, some great music they have. Make sure you check out their stuff. All the links are in the show notes of the episode. You'll find them there. And get out and support a great band. Remember, the Foul Players of Perryville, speaking of supporting local artists, we're back in action this year. Have upcoming shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. We have some with Fifth Company Brewing and other places. Check our calendar. You can find it at foulplayersofperryville.com. If you're interested in booking us, foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Every Tuesday from 4 to 6, you can hear moi. I shouldn't use that. You can hear me on the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, where we feature songs you forgot you liked, classics that never die, interviews with up-and-coming and classic beloved bands. Go to 97underground.com, download the free app today, listen wherever you may go. And again, we thank you for watching and listening. Remember, our main website is foulplayersradio.com, youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. Hit the like and subscribe button and leave a good review. That really helps me out a lot. It helps me reach new audiences, work my way up through the algorithms or wherever that goes. Thanks again for watching, folks. And again, support our acts, support our guests. Again, links to all their stuff is in the show notes. It really makes a difference when you go out and support them. It really does. So until next time, folks, this is Michael Spedden signing off.